You never think your life will become a news article. You never imagine your name will be in a headline, followed by words like jail and murder and body found. My name is Branden Geoffrey Roth. I was 24 years old from Tucson, Arizona, and this is my story, not the story of my death, but the story of my life, my mistakes, and the catastrophic failure that ended it all. To understand what happened to me, you have to understand where I was in my life. It wasn't glamorous. I was scared. My ex was pregnant. The pressure was immense. The pressure to provide, to be a man, to help bring a child into this world. I wasn't thinking clearly. Fear can make you do things that are completely out of character. I made a decision out of pure desperation. I stole an automotive computer. My plan was to sell it, to get some money together. It was a nonviolent crime. It was theft, and I was caught. I was arrested and taken to the Pima County Adult Detention Complex. I was supposed to be there for a short time. I was supposed to get out, get my life straight, and finally hold my son. But the system had a very different and final plan for me. They placed me in a cell with another man. His name was King Yates. He was 23 years old. At the time, I didn't know who he was. I didn't know his story. But I would soon learn, and the world would soon learn, that just 4 months prior, in November of 2016, King Yates had been arrested for the first-degree murder of his wife, 24-year-old Cassandra Yates. He was accused of shooting her. The Pima County Sheriff's Department, the same department running the jail, looked at my file, a young guy in for a non-violent theft, and they looked at his file, a man accused of the most intimate, violent act imaginable, and they decided we were suitable cellmates. Let me sit with that for a moment, because it's a weight my family still carries. They put me, a kid who made a stupid, desperate mistake, in a cage with an accused murderer. The math of that decision just doesn't add up. It's a failure so basic, so profound, it feels intentional. The timeline of my last days is a cruel countdown. The highest high came first. My son was born. 2 weeks before I was killed, my child came into the world. My parents brought me the news. They showed me pictures. He was so small, so perfect. In those photos, I saw a future. I saw a reason to get my life together, to serve my time, to become the father I was desperate to be. For those 2 weeks, I was a father. Even from a jail cell, I held on to that identity. It was my anchor. It was everything. Then, on the morning of April 19th, 2017, everything stopped. According to the Pima County Sheriff's Department news release, around 10 a.m., officers conducted a welfare check. They found me in my cell. I was 24 years old. The report states I had obvious signs of trauma. Medical assistance was called, but it was far too late. I was pronounced dead at the scene, right there on the floor of that cell. King Yates was charged with my murder. He was already in jail for allegedly killing his wife, and now he was accused of killing me. You would think that would be the end of the story, the crime, the arrest, the justice. But for my family, the horror was just beginning. King Yates decided to represent himself in court for 2 years, 2 long, agonizing years. My mother and father had to sit in a courtroom and endure the presence of the man who murdered their son. They had to listen to him speak. They had to watch him manipulate the proceedings, turning the courtroom into his stage. He dragged those trials out, forcing my family to relive my death day in and day out. It was a second murder, a slow psychological one, inflicted on the people I loved most. They weren't just grieving, they were being re-traumatized, over and over, by the very hands that ended my life. And while this legal nightmare was unfolding, another heartache was happening at home. My son, my beautiful boy, because of issues with his mother, my parents, my mom and dad, couldn't see him. They couldn't hold him. For the first 3 months of his life, while they were burying their son and fighting through court, their grandson was just out of reach. Can you imagine that pain? The one living piece of me was being kept from them. The hope that should have been their solace was a source of additional anguish. Finally, when he was 3 months old, they got to meet him. My mom says she will never forget the first time she held him. In that moment, she said it was like a part of me was given back to her. It was the beginning of a new kind of fight, a fight for him. And they won. They adopted my son, their grandson. He is with them now. He is safe. He is so deeply loved. He is being raised by the 2 people who loved me unconditionally. He will know my face from the pictures on their walls. He will hear stories about me. Not the story of how I died, but stories of who I was when I was alive. He will know that his father loved him with every fiber of his being. Even if I never got the chance to hold him, he is my living legacy. So, when you see my name, Branden Geoffrey Roth, in an old news article, I want you to see more than a victim. See the young man who was desperate to do the right thing and made a terrible mistake. See the father whose heart beat for his son for 2 precious weeks. See the son whose parents' love turned an unimaginable tragedy into a promise for the future. My life was taken from me in a place that was supposed to be secure by a person who should never have been my cellmate. Remember my story. Remember my name. Let it be a call for change, for accountability, for compassion, within a system that desperately needs it. Let it be a reminder that everyone is someone's child. I was Branden Geoffrey Roth. Thank you for listening and for remembering me.